I should record.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
so as I was saying, we are creating a class called employee. After we create the class called employee, we have these variables here, which are the things we would need to store the employee. Then we have a constructor here to create the class itself, and the constructor will set the various values of the employee that we require. Then we have getters over here for us to use to go and get information into our class. Get information from our class, sorry. So now that I'm done with that, now I must create the payroll system itself. Over here, I have a variable called, sorry, a class. I'm creating a new class called payroll system. And once I have created this class called payroll system, it is in here that I am going to build the design or the frame or the swing frame for my work. So I would have to extend JFrame. So I have extended JFrame. Now, in here again, I will have to create variables for the various things that I will have on my screen. For my screen, I have how many things over here? That is, when I say the things I have for my screen, our example or our base application that we are doing, where we have this, we have employee name, base pay, hours worked, hourly rate. All of these things here are text fields. Then, of course, I have lecturer over here. Then I have the register button. Then I have the calculate payroll button. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 text boxes, one combo box, and then 2 what? Buttons. So in here, I must tell the computer that, okay, I'm coming to design my stuff. So please give me private, a J text field, and the text field is going to be for txt name, comma, txt base p, comma, txt hours, comma, and txt rate. So I've just created the 4 text boxes. Then, of course, I need the 2 buttons. So I have J button, and in here I have BTN register, comma, BTN calculate. Okay, now I need the combo box. The combo box is the drop-down menu. So here I have private, J combo box, and you can see that the combo box is asking what data type will the things be in. That is over here, the things we drop down here, what is their data type? And of course, their data type is going to be what? A string. Hence, we can say that the name of the combo box, like this one, TXT. So this one describes that I'm creating a combo box. So its name is going to be CB employee type. And then I have a text area. So J text area, in which I'm going to call TXT area results. And then finally, I'm going to have a private array list and the array list is going to store information that comes from the class employee. So the data type of my array list is what? Employee. And then its name is employees. So all the things I require to design my form and then store the data from my form, I have just created them here. Hence, now I must construct the payroll system. So I have public payroll system into bracket. And then in here, I would write the things which I require to construct my payroll system class. What is the first thing I require? I need to set the title of my page. That is, when you open it like this, at the top here, you can see payroll system at the top here. That is the title. So the title is going to be payroll system. Wonderful. The next thing I have to do is I have to tell the computer that the window I am creating over here, what is the size of this window? The size of my window, so set size into bracket, and the size of it is going to be 400 by 320. So as you can see, the width is 400, the height is 320. Please note that this width and height here, they are auto-generated because this is a function and it is telling you that the first variable of the function is width and the second variable is height. So you don't have to type width semicolon when you are typing. It will be auto-generated by the editor we are using. Also, I have to set the default action close operation. And I'm going to set it to be jframe dot exit on close, so that the moment I close my application, everything would be exited and closed. Also, I have to set the layout of my application to what? To new flow layout. Very simple. So this here allows me to design the initial look of my window. For example, if I just put in set visibility to what? True. So now everything in which I have would be showing on my page. Right? Everything I have now will be showing on my page. If that is true, then I can launch this and see what I get. So if I come here, I want to launch a new payroll system. And you can see that this is the constructor we just created. So over here, this is the constructor. That is this one. And that is what we are invoking. And when we get it, we would want to see a window with a title, the height like this, and it should be like this. That is all. So if I run this application here, I have no errors. What I should see would be a window popping up. The window will have nothing in it. And then I'll have a title here for me. And that is what I have here. I clicked it twice. That is why it appeared twice. I actually clicked it more than twice. So you can see that is what I have over here. Now, this is a far cry from what we have here. That means that at this stage, I have not yet told the computer that it should give me a text box, a label, a button, and all of those things. I've just created the variables that contain them. I have not told the computer to place them at a particular location. So now let's deal with that. Let's go and make sure the computer knows where to place the various buttons and text boxes. And of course, I will do them before I tell the computer to make it what? Visible. So for my application, what do I need? I need to add onto my screen. And what am I adding onto my screen? A new J label. And what would be the writing or text on the label? It should be what? Employee name. So I have just added a label to my screen. Again, if I come here and I run this, on my screen, what should I see there? I should see a label. You can see a employee name. I see a label over there. Right? So my application is working. But if I give you a label, I must give you what you should type in the label. So I need to add onto my screen txt name. Now, the problem is that txt name is a JText field, but we have not initialized it to anything. So before I can add it to my screen, I must initialize it and give it the properties of a text field. That is, I must do txt name is equal to new JText field. And I must tell the computer how many things the person will enter. And the person is going to enter 10 things. Again, I can continue by copying this and telling the computer to add a new label. This time, the label is going to be the employee's base pay. And then here, instead of txt name, I'll have txt base pay. And here will also be what? Txt base pay. Of course, I would need two more of this. So I have two more of this. Here would be employee hours worked. So hours work.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll corner now. I just stop.
And then over here, I'll have txt hours, and here txt what? Hours. Then in here, I will have txt hourly rate. So that in here, I will have txt rate, and here would be txt what? Rate. So again, because I have visibility on, and here I'm creating an instance of what I've done. If I click on the button again to run, it will compile everything in which I have, and then I will have this. You can see the four things I just created have been added to my interface. So now that I've added these things to my interface, the next thing I need to add is the combo box so that the person can select some items. But the question is, what items do I want the person to select? So in here, I am going to create a string array that will hold the items I want to be listed inside my combo box. So I have string, employee type being equal to lecturer, comma, administrative staff, comma, adjunct lecturer, terminate. So these are the things in which I want to appear inside my combo box. Hence, I must tell the computer I'm creating a combo box. So CB employee type, remember we did that over here. And we are saying that they should be equal to a new kind of combo box. And immediately it asks us the question that what do we want to put in as the types of the combo box? And you can see the computer is even telling us that the types must come in as an array, which is of type what? String. Because at the top here, we said that our combo box is going to take string data as input. Hence, over here, I can easily put in employee type here because employee type, remember, is a string. And it is an array too. So it fits the criteria over here. Hence, I can now tell the individual to add this piece of component onto my screen. So if I go to main again and I run my application again and it compiles and I have no error in my code, I would see that on my screen, I will have a combo box that someone can go and easily what? Select a few items, and the items are the things I listed in my array. I'll close this. Now I have to do my buttons. So again, I have btn calculate, which is going to be a new J button, and it is going to have the text written on it as register. I also have btn, oh, sorry, this is supposed to be register. And then this one is supposed to be what? Calculate. So that here will be new J button. What? Calculate payroll. Wonderful. So now, if I leave it like this, it's a problem. I've created it, but I have not added it to my screen. So now I can add it since I have what? Created it. So now when I go back to my screen, I should see two buttons created for me. As you can see, two buttons over here, beautifully created for me. Now, also, we need the text area that we would use to display our answers. So again, txt area is equal to new J area, but J area does not take only one thing. It takes two things. It takes the number of rows you want for your text area. In our case, we want 10. And it takes the number of columns you want. In our case, we want what? 30. So again, when I go here and I run my app, I think I've made a mistake here. And yes, I have. I've created it, but I forgot to what? Add it. So now I have to what? Add it. So when I go onto my screen now, in my main, and I click on this button here, I would see that it has been what? Added. So now this is the interface in which I require. And if we compare this interface with the interface of our finished product, it looks exactly the same. The difference is with our finished product, when we click on register and calculate, we are able to register people and we are able to calculate people. So how are we going to do that? Are there any questions before I continue?
Yes, I have a question. Uh, so with these ways of adding boxes and buttons and fields, um, do they need to have any type of maybe catch and try blocks, or they can just be added into the application the way it is?
Can you hear me? Ali,
Yes, sir.
why would you want to put it in a try and catch block?
Okay, so I think maybe for try and catch would be more for a bit more complex operations. The reason why I would want it to be in a try and catch block is because what if the button doesn't load or something like that? But I'm also not too sure if
The
that
button will
happens.
always, you see that? The button will always load. Normally, if you want to use a try and catch block, you do that based on calculations or on not calculations per se, but on processing of information, whereby there is an occurrence that the information you are trying to process may fail. In this case, there is no way in which the information there will not be rendered. Right? But for example, let's say someone will have to log in before this page comes. Then you can put it in a try and catch.
Okay.
But in the case whereby nothing triggers this, why are you putting it in a try and catch?
Oh, I see. Since there's nothing that is doing any calculations or type of information retrieval, um, so far it doesn't need to be in a try and catch block.
Sure. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So now let's do what happens when we click on the register button. So when I click on BTN register, I want you to go and add an action listener to my application. And I want you to start a new action listener. Now, we have explained this already. It is there to listen to the button, and when the button is clicked, these actions will be performed. What will be the action that will be performed? The action that will be performed is for us to simply just register an employee. But the question is, we do not have any function called register employee. Hence, we need to create a function. So private void register employee. Now, why? Who can tell me why we are making this function private?
I believe that we're adding the function there because it would be on the since we're not really necessarily extending another class, it would have to be a constructor under the same class that we're using, which is the payroll system.
That's not right. Who can tell me why we are putting private here for our functions?
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant register as a function of itself. A private so that it stays uh, only used within its own class instead of it being
It's so that, very good. So it's so that only this class can use the function register employee. Anything outside of it cannot use it. Which property of Java allows this kind of action? Which characteristic of Java allows this action?
sorry, sir, my network went off.
Which characteristic or property of Java allows this action?
Encapsulation.
Encapsulation. So in here, when I click on the register button, there are a set of things I need to do. One of them is I need to go and collect the information I have to register. So here I would say string name is equal to txt name dot get text. I'll have string type is equal to cb employee type dot get selected item. And when you get it, make sure you make it sure it is a what? String. Then I have double the base pay of the individual being equal to txt base pay, but dot get text. Now, is this correct? Why has this been underlined for me?
It's a sort of it's a number, so it's a type of integer. So as a double, it's a number, so I can't really get the text. So you would have to parse it.
Very good. So I will have to typecast it. And in me typecasting it, I mean I'll have double dot pass double, and then I'll put everything here inside it. Also, I have int hours, which would be equal to integer dot pass integer. Then in here, I'll have txt hours dot get what? Text. Then finally, I have double rate being equal to double dot path double txt rate dot get text. Now, these items or these 5 items have been collected. Now I must create the employee and then add him to the list of employees I have. So I have employee, new employee being equal to new employee into the bracket the name of the person, the type of employee of the person, the base pay of the person, the hours worked of the person, and then finally the rate of the person. So this would create an object of an employee for me called new employee. Now, I will go and take the list of employees I have and add to that list the new employee that I have just created. And this is how I will register a new employee. After that, I'll have txt name dot after that, I must tell the person that he has registered a new employee. So J option plain dot show message dialog, and we are showing the message dialog using this class, and we are showing the message that employee has been registered. Now, we are done with the button register. Now we must focus on the BTN for calculating payroll. So I'll add a new listener for that too. And then the variable I will have over, or the function I'll have here would be called calculate payroll. Now, calculate payroll again has not been created. So under this, I would just create private void that. When they say a method is void, what does that mean?
It doesn't have to return a value.
It does not return a value. So in here, I'm going to create a string builder that will help me build a string. And I'm going to call it payroll results, which is equal to new string builder. Perfect. And then I'm going to say double the tax of the company is 0.10. So this is the tax. Now I'm going to use a switch statement. But before the switch statement, I first of all have to go for my list and then go through my list. So I'm going to say for every employee. And remember, the employees come from the employee class. So the EM here is for every employee that we find inside the list called employees. So this piece of code is very important. It is going to tell that, okay, you have a list over here. Now, in this list that you have, I'm going through it one by one. Now, if I go to the end or if there's nothing in the list, then I will stop. But as I am going through the list, everything I find would be an employee of type employee class. So every time it finds something, it will enter here and immediately say that the payroll of the individual is equal to 0. Now, in the case that we are going to use switch statements, so we are going to switch. And what are we switching on? We are switching on the employees what? Hi, you can see that when I brought EMP, it's immediately telling me that I am referring to the class employee. And in here, I'm looking for what? The type of employee. So it will go and take the type of the employee that we registered over here using type. And when we take that piece of information, we are going to check if that person is a lecturer. Now, if that person is a lecturer, then it means that the person is able to take a bonus. So bonus is equal to 0. Now, if this person's bonus, so is not going to be 0, then it means that we need to check if this person has hours worked, and if he has hours worked, we would increase the hours by 18. Sorry, we will compare the hours to see if it is above 18. If it is above 18, then the bonus of the individual is equal to 150 Ghana cedis times the employee's hours that we registered.
So you didn't add
minus
the brackets.
18. I didn't add the what?
The brackets after.
What brackets? The brackets here. You're talking about this one.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, you can add it. If you have more than, it's okay, let me add it. Because if I don't add it, some of my students will go and do something which they shouldn't. But technically, under the if you have just one line there, then it is assumed that that statement is for the if. Every statement after that is not for the if. So if you have more than 2 lines of code, then you need to bring the bracket. But if you don't, you can ignore the bracket.
Oh, okay.
But my students being my students, let me bring the bracket so that no one will do something which is wrong. This means that the payroll of the individual is equal to the employee's base salary, base pay times 1 minus the tax. Oh, sorry. So here will be plus the bonus times 1 minus the tax. Perfect. So this is how much the employee will be taking. And then we can what? Break. Now, in the case that the employee is an administrative staff, then the payroll of the employee is equal to the employee's base salary times 1 minus the tax. Rick. Now, in the case that the employee is an adjunct lecturer, then the payroll of the employee is equal to the employee's base pay times the employee's rate. All of this times 1 minus the what? The tax. Rate. Therefore, we can say the payroll results, we can append to it the employee's name, so emp.getName, and then we can also append to it this, that's this, and then in here I'll do the Ghana sign, the Ghana cedi sign, and then also I will append to it the money format, that is Ghana cedi.00, that whole format. So I'll append to it that. And then finally, I will append to it a new line so that it knows to go to a new line. And at the end of it, I will have my terminate symbol. So this will give me the person's name, that Ghana cedi some space, and then the money in the money format, and then this. So something .00, 10 Ghana.00 for the persons and stuff. Okay. So now my program is okay. If I go to the main and I on it, I will have this program so that I can type in, let's say, John, base pay is, let's say, 12,000. John works 12 hours and John has an hours worth of 0 and an hourly rate of 0. Because John is an administrative staff, so I can register him. So when I click this one, yeah, something was supposed to happen. What do you think was supposed to happen? I was supposed to get a message saying that he has been registered successfully. I did not get any message like that. So that means there's something wrong with our code. So we have to go and check it. Let's come back in here. We'll scroll down. So over here we have add employee, add new employee, then we have this one. Oh, I don't think I ran it from here. That's what, let's see. So John, 12,000, 0, 0. And then here, administrative staff, register. So we have a problem here again. Let's see. So set the visibility is where it's supposed to be. Okay, I have an error here. Let's see. This is because this got employees is now. Okay. And it is now where? Line 80. So this got employees is now. Okay. Let's see. Let's start from here. Over here, I said it should be register. That is this button. This button should be calculate payroll. So that is that. Then over here we have this. And here we have BTN register, which is being pointed to this. So when we come over here, we have this, that, and that, and that. And then we have this employees dot add. Everything here looks okay. It looks fine. At the top, did I make a mistake there? Okay. Yeah, it looks fine here too. It says I have 2 usages of this, which I do. Where are the 2 usages? So I have a usage over here, and I have a usage over here. It makes sense. It's okay. Or I have to add a disk user. I don't think so. Yeah, because it knows it's that already, so there's no need. So let's try it again and see where our error is coming. So I have no errors. I enter a day. I enter a base pay. I enter hours work. I enter a rate. And I click register. And it says that you cannot enroll because this employee is now. Add employee. Okay. 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 Oh, yes. It is now, but we did it here. Okay, we didn't do it. Yes, it's my fault. So over here, I was supposed to do employees being equal to new array list. Yeah. I thought I did it. So I was supposed to do this so that I create the list because here I've just specified the name of the one. I haven't told it this is a list yet. So now I don't think I'll have that error again. So I have John, 12,000, 00, being an administrative staff register, and I don't have that problem again. Then I have Karen, whose base pay is 2,000, but she works for 30 hours, and her rate is 0 because Karen is a lecturer, and lecturers have their own rates. And then we have Ali. Ali, who is taking home 3,000, but Ali also works. Ali is taking home 1,500, but he worked for 30 hours. Then his hourly rate is 100 Ghana because Ali is an adjunct lecturer, so register. So when I click calculate payroll, I should see all the payrolls being calculated on my. Now, I am not seeing all the payrolls being calculated here. Why am I not seeing the payrolls being calculated here? As you can see, I don't have an error here, which means there's a problem of the logic. So let's go straight to the logic. Now, over here, I added all the payrolls together, but I forgot that when I am done with my loop, I have to display it in the text area. So I must say txt text area dot set text, and I'm setting text to what? Payroll results. And I must make sure I tell the computer that this is a what? String. So again, I can restart my program. I come back here. I have John, who is taking home 12,000. Hours worked is 0, and this is 0 because it's an administrative staff. I have Karen. She's taking home 3,000. She works for 30 hours. The rate can be 0 because lecturers have their own rates internally in the system, which is 1,000, which is 150 Ghana cedis. And then again, I have Mr. Ali, who is having 1,500 as the base pay, but has an hourly rate of, let's say, 100 Ghana. Mr. Ali is an adjunct lecturer. So it means that in our organization, we'll be paying John around 10,800. Karen this, and Mr. Ali will take home 0. Oh no, Mr. Ali, there's something wrong here. So we have to go and check on Mr. Ali because he's taking home 0. So let's go and check on Mr. Ali and make sure everything. So here we'll have the base pay times the hourly rate of the person. Oh, okay, the hourly rate made it 0, I think. So that's why it became like that. So everything here is working. It's okay. Now, you see, whenever I have an error, I don't panic. I leave them in for you to see how I solve them. I go check, read what the error is, read what the problem is, go to the place they are pointing out the problem. Then I go to each place in which the problem is used, check where it is wrong. Is it from the declaration or from the implementation? That is it from this thing here is the declaration, this thing here is the implementation? Which one is it wrong? You know, I can't display. Everything is working fine, which means that here, having set it to be what? Displayed. The question for the day was this. Ali graciously read it out in the beginning. So this is what we were doing. We have been able to do. I will give you the remainder of the class to try it on your own and see if you can achieve the same goals as we all tried together. Are there any questions?
Yes, sir. Is it possible we can get the script or the Java file for this so that we can try it?
I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so if there are no questions, then we'll bring our class in here. Thank you for coming.
Sir,
Mhm.
sir, you didn't wish me happy Mother's Day.
Do you have a child?
Sir, I'm a potential mother.
The question, the answer to the question is not what you just said. Do you have a child?